welcome back to my Minecraft 1.8 100 day series. In this video, again, I'm only gonna do one thing, and I just want to make an XP farm with the spawner which we found on episode 5. So first of all, I grabbed some materials which I needed, and I set off down into the mines, and I retraced my steps to find the spawner. Although at some points I did get confused where I went, I was able to watch episode 5 and find where I went. It was pretty surreal to go back into the mines because I had a really hard time, and now I'm just breezing through this series. And after I found the spawner, I built some cobblestone around me and began to dig up so I can find where the spawner is at the surface. And by the time when I reached the surface and I looked around and I did not see my base anywhere near me, so I began to explore and I realized I'm pretty far from my base, but it's a pretty good distance, so I pillared up so I don't forget the location, and I began chopping down trees which were in front of the spawner hole, so it would just be easier to spot the pillar from far away. And I continued to chop down more and more trees until I had around 2 stacks of logs. I then wanted to enchant my axe because I knew I needed to do lots of wood chopping, and I enchanted it with efficiency 2 and unbreaking 1. And then I wanted to flatten down the surroundings because I wanted to build like a little lighthouse build because I thought it would look cool along the coast. So I did want to flatten it out. I wanted it to be around 11 blocks wide with the center point being like 6 blocks in, and I wanted it 5 blocks wide and 4 blocks in length away from that middle point. And once I finished flattening out the area, I began building out the frame for my lighthouse, and I made it very circular with pretty little space, if I'm gonna be honest, but it did. I think it was a good frame which I built out, and I built each pillar around 11 blocks high, which it costed a lot of wood, and it also costed lots of durability on my boots. But I feel like it was worth it after I finished this build. And I jumped into the water and I went to get some spruce, which is the first time that I'm going to use spruce in a build. So I wanted to use a different type of wood instead of just birch and oak, because I was getting sick of just that type of color. So I just wanted to get some spruce to make a different type of build. And I also picked up some spruce saplings, and I went back to the lighthouse, and then I began building the walls for my lighthouse, and this took me quite a while because sometimes I would mess up the wall and I would have to chop it down, although I did cut some of those parts. And then I finally was able to finish the last bit of wall by the time night fell, which was pretty good. And I built this frame with 2 doors, one on this side which I'm pointing at, and one on the opposite side. And then I began building the roof by night because I did not want to go back, because I knew it would be quite a challenge to get back up to the top of the lighthouse. So I built some spruce slabs and I began building the roof of the lighthouse. Oh shit! So after I fell, I thought it was a good opportunity for me to build a spiral staircase back up, because anyways I'm at the bottom of the lighthouse, so it's better just to build it right now while I have the opportunity. So I began building the staircase up, and it was quite a boring process, which is why I did a quick time lapse of it, and I just continued building the roof, which was pretty fast, if I'm gonna be honest. It took way quicker than I thought it would, and I finished the main part of the roof. And afterwards I wanted to make it actually look like a lighthouse with a different type of ceiling which I've never built before, but I wanted to do some experimenting with this. So I put stairs on all the pillars which I built, and I used slabs to cover it up, and I wanted it to be basically like a glass view of everything and some glass on the ceiling as well, because I thought it would look nice and it would resemble a lighthouse in the real world. So after I finished that and the sun was rising, I was able to finish the second floor of the lighthouse, which is where the entrance would be on the upper level, and I would have one on the lower level as well. And I put some torches down because I did not want to have any mobs spawn like in my storage area, and then I picked up some sand for some glass, because glass panes weren't gonna work with this build sadly, even though I had them available. What are you doing? I'm just gonna let you live. I don't want to kill you. Can you stop shooting me? Alright, I'm done with you. It's over. See ya, buddy. Yeah, get fucked, mate. You shit at this game. Fuck you. After that, I went back and I smelted my sand, and then I decided I want to dig down to the spawner since I had basically finished my build. And I do need to make the XP farm eventually. So I dug back down and I reached the spawner and I covered it with torches because I did not want any zombies to spawn whilst I'm building the spawner. And I began carving out the area because I watched a tutorial and it said you have to leave 4 blocks of space. And then a zombie spawned out of nowhere even though I covered the spawn in torches. But I still had to continue carving. I did not let that get the better of me, and I continued to carve through. Although there was lots of noises happening around me, lots of mobs, I was getting a little scared, and some mobs even managed to make it through into the build. But I persisted the build, and I had to make a little bit of walls because I didn't want more mobs to break in. Although they just did go into the cave around, I had to do it, and I was continued to carve into the wall, and then more zombies were outside, so I had to kill them as well. I don't know why they're all villager zombies, and a creeper decided to join the party as well. So I blocked them off, but I would have to deal with them whilst carving away the wall because they were right outside. And I continued carving, and then I broke into the part where the creeper and zombie were chilling together. So I had to hit them from afar, and once I killed the creeper, it was easy to kill the zombie, and I carved through the wall, and I was able to block it off, so now no mobs can get into this mob spawner. So I was finally able to finish carving out the wall. But by the time I was near the end, I got filled up with clutter, lots of cobblestone, so I just put it in the chest which came with the dungeon, and I finished carving down the wall, which is good, because now I can get to the floor, which will be an easier job. But I kept on looking up because I didn't know how to get up, but I decided I'll finish the build no matter what happens, so I continued mining the floor, and then a zombie spawned behind me again. I don't know what is it with this. This version is so buggy because they spawned whilst I still had torches on the spawner. So I don't know what happened, but I finished carving out the floor and I dug a little hole for where the zombies will fall through. But I needed to make an infinite water source since I needed water for this build. And I did not have 2 buckets, so I would need to make 2 journeys to the top. So I decided I'll make some ladders. Although I did try with the water, but in this version you can't swim through water very fast, and it did take me a while to learn that, so that's why I cut it. But I ran out of ladders, so I did just have to build up with cobblestone. And by the time I reached the surface, it was night time. So I kinda had to psych myself up, and I ran back to my base so I can sleep, because I did not want to get wood whilst it was in the dead of night. So as I woke up, I then just chopped down a little amount of trees, because I only needed some sticks. But these skeletons just hate me for some reason. They just love shooting me. But once I got the wood, I just dug back down into the spawner, and then I built up with ladders, and that's basically what I did. Just went down so I can place up some of my ladders that I got, and I just had enough to make it to the top. And then I made some trapdoors, since I'll need one for where I would go, and I nearly forgot to get water, so I went back up so I can grab some. And then I dug the area where I want to be for the XP farm, where I would kill the zombies. So I placed a trapdoor down there, and then I finished the infinite water source, and I placed water all around, because so the zombies would be able to get pushed into that center point. So I just got them and placed it in all 4 corners, and it was kind of satisfying to watch, to be honest. But I messed up the 4th bucket, and then I looked and I thought I messed it up because more water was there, but I didn't, because I tested it out, and as you can see I get pushed into the center point. So I put a trapdoor down there as well, because I do not want some of those zombies that accidentally spawned to go in there. And I went to the surface so I can chop down more wood, because I'll need chests and all this other stuff. So I needed to get more and more wood. And I made it down, and then I began to carve the little room which I wanted. And I just basically put necessities down in this room, but it took me quite a while to find where the zombies were, and there was a zombie there, so I just took him down and killed him. And this shows that the farm does work without me even needing to break any of the torches. So I carved out more of the area. It was very little, and I was deciding whether I wanted slabs in this position or I wanted it that, and I eventually just chose this design. It looks better in my opinion. But I had to smelt some of my iron, and I had the perfect amount for a hopper. I then destroyed the chest and blocked off the infinite water source, because I don't want any areas as the zombies might accidentally just spawn in, so I just blocked off everything. So I then just destroyed the torches as well, because this room needs to be dark. I made the hopper as well, and I placed it above the double chest, which I placed off camera. I don't know why I cut that. And then I was bridging over so I can destroy all the torches and put a slab above the spawner, so no zombies will just spawn above it and they won't fall in the water. So some zombies were already spawning and they were already falling in the hole before I can even get back into the chamber. So I accidentally fell in and I was panicking, but I destroyed all the cobblestone. And I tested out the farm and it worked pretty quickly, and I was very happy with it. It's the first XP farm that I've ever made. So I guess I finished making my XP farm, which is the goal of this episode. And this is just a quick time lapse of how quickly the farm is, and I got around 1 level in around a minute of just killing zombies, and I eventually just made it so that there's 1 block gap. And then I fell asleep. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'm sorry if some of the commentary is very quiet. I'm recording this at night, so yeah, my voice is a little bit dead right now. and I'll see you guys next time.